Brittany Muller is a native of New York State. She relocated to Virginia with her family in the hopes of establishing a new and better life. An example of determination and perseverance, Brittany has acquired multiple certificates and is on the way to completing a second degree. Her goal is to foster a fun and safe learning environment for today's learners and to perpetuate learning throughout generations. It is with this determination that she founded the Resource Academy, home of Lilly's Learning Pad, which primarily functions as a daycare for 2 to 12-year-olds. Nestled in the heart of Cary Town, Lilly's Learning Pad is open and ready to develop young minds and foster a learning environment for families at reasonable prices.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks. I am your host, Robinette Cross, and tonight we have with us the owner and founder of Lilly's Learning Pad, Miss Brittany Muller. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. There are a number of reasons why I wanted you on to just celebrate you, because this is your grand reopening of Lilly's Learning Pad, and this is a daycare, guys. She's an owner of a daycare here on West Main Street that has students from the ages of 2 to 12 years old. Is that right? 2 to 12 years old. They have a curriculum, they have complex learning, multiple rooms, it's spacious. So we really wanted to celebrate your grand reopening. Yes, and to talk to you a bit about your journey to this moment.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us. So I wanted to, if you would tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your background, what brought you here to Virginia.
Sure. So I am originally from New York. My entire family is still there. My mother recently just relocated to North Carolina, so we're getting closer. I came to Virginia because I dream bigger. Being in New York is so much going on all the time, and when I had my first son, I was like, there's so much to do. I want to take him all over New York, but when you have two boys in Brooklyn, you decide, you make a decision. You have to make a conscious decision. Do I want them to grow up here in the streets of Brooklyn, or do I want better? And so my decision was to give them more, let them be boys, let them have space, let them run around. And I said, I don't want to be too close, and I don't want to be too far. And so we picked literally a point on the map, and it was Virginia. And so we ended up in Virginia, and I do have some sporadic family all over Virginia, and that's pretty much how we got here.
For how long have you been here, though?
Since 2011, January 2011.
Woo! My goodness, so 7 years.
Yes, it still feel like yesterday.
We've been here for 7 years, and your family has expanded as well. You keep growing. You're like Flintstones, like the Flintstone vitamins.
Yes. I'm not drinking any more water.
So you came with 2.
Yes.
You now have 4. And you have a set of twins on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so with your children as a mom and as a learner yourself, a lifelong learner yourself, what made you really want to start? This is also called Academy of Resources.
Yes, ma'am.
Academy of Resources. This is the home of Lilly's Learning Pad. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So what made you want to found a resource center that also was a daycare?
So I am a young mother. And so when I first got to Virginia, it was not many avenues. I didn't know anything. So coming from not knowing anything, it was, where do I look? Where do I go? How do I find out information? And of course, the first thing that as a mother we do is we look for childcare, we look for schools. And so I went searching for that first, and it was still not enough resources for me to be able to expand and say, oh, let me go to this daycare and put my kids here. It was just not enough information. And so coming from a background that says, where do I put my kids? I know nothing about Virginia, to, this is the best daycare. But then where do you go? What's the next step? And for parents, we just want to know, okay, so what's next? Like, where are resources for my children? Where can I take them to get free books? Or where can I look for jobs? As a parent, you want to just know what's the next step. Mm-hmm. And I feel like as a young mother, we don't have access to those resources in places that are accessible, places that we're commonly going. Church, schools, places that we automatically assume just have the answers. So I was like, there has to be a change. And so I decided, if I open up a school, we have to be able to provide resources to our families so that they are able to grow just like we do. You shouldn't be stifled by one area of your life because you can't figure out what's the next move. So I was like, let's do some resources. Let's be able to provide, because I want to do everything, of course. I was like, I can do notary, I can do this, I can do that. So my husband was like, you are the jack of all trades. And I was like, so that means I need to be able to put it all under one roof. And so the Academy of Resources is going to be a charter school. That's the goal. And Lily's Learning Path will always be our baby, our daycare, our foundation where we started.
That's fantastic. So, when you were thinking about this place, because you are actually in a very accessible location, it's on the bus line, it's in the heart of Cary Town, it's on West Main Street, guys, just to reiterate, then you are investing in generational learning, generational education. And I know that for those of us who are in the field of education, then we know how important it is to have families being an active part of the learning process for their children. That's how children best learn, when they have interactive environments, but where the learning process is happening on multiple age levels in the home and outside of the home. So this is turned into that space where there is guided resources, not just for children, but also for adults to help foster that generational learning. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Kudos to you for that as a fellow educator, because all too often, especially in the public school system, that becomes a common problem with public schools. That becomes something that people talk about a lot with the public school systems, that parents are not as involved in their children's lives or their children's academic lives. And then the response to that from parents is that they don't have access, or they don't have time, and they don't know what to do. The unfortunate thing is that this generational cycle of not knowing what to do breeds children who don't know what to do. And then you have school systems that say, why don't your parents teach you how to do this? But the parents don't have the foundation that they need in order to actually help foster the learning process for their own children. So it is a challenge to parents to really keep stretching, but also I applaud you for thinking beyond that. As a mom, that's a special skill set to have, to think about your own children and the future of your children and what you wanted to have. Because I know you used to homeschool your children. You still homeschool your children, don't you?
I still homeschool my children. So yes.
Blessing.
So yes, and as a mother, I'm not a single mother. I do have my husband, so I'm grateful for that. But he works. Yes. And he works a demanding job to the point where sometimes he's on call. So if the phone rings, he got to go. And I'm like, well, we're in the middle of dinner. Or, I've got a lot of things that I got to do for myself and for the children. And not going from 2 to 4 to now 6. The idea is to just be able to have a hand in everything that they do. Of course, everybody wished to be stay-at-home moms. I had the luxury of doing that for a little while. But I was like, I want more. I want more for my children. And I can only imagine just being in the working field and not having that ability to have access to your child's education, and how frustrating it is. Like, you want to go to field trips, you want to volunteer, but school is over at 3, and then you got to get home at 6, and then you got to cook dinner. And there's like no parent involvement. So I pride myself on encouraging our parents, come in when you want to. If you're off today, by all means, join us. Come read a story to the kids. Come, let's go for a walk in the park. Let's volunteer. We make sure that all parents are background checked in that way, so that they are, of course, welcomed by all our families, and that it's not mandatory, but it's something that we push. We're real strong about. Like, get involved with your child's life, even if it's a cooking class, even if it's come and watch movies with us on a movie night. Just small things you don't realize make such a big impact. So that's definitely my goal.
All right, good stuff. So what would you say you would like to leave as your community impact? What do you hope to do, or what would you like to be your footprint in the community when either you go on to bigger things and the charter school grows, or you relocate, or your children begin to take over the business for you? Yes. What would you like to say the legacy is that you're leaving?
So legacy, I want everybody to believe that no matter your choice as far as career path, family size, you can always take part in your children's lives. I want everybody to be able to be involved. Involvement is such a big thing. And like I said, being a mother, it doesn't matter. And there's always the mommy wars. You're a stay-at-home mom. You're a working mom. There's no right way to parenting. Parenting starts with education.
There you go.
And education is always a key factor. We know that, you can't make it in life without having a good education or a good educational foundation. And so, of course, whenever I reach out to my parents, I'm like, let me help you choose the best start to your child's educational future. If you start young by fostering education, by the time your child's in high school, they'll love school. Mm-hmm. Or even if they don't love it, they'll know the importance of school and they'll be willing to pursue. And so our goal is to leave behind that education is not always stifled by books and frustration, that you can actually have fun and enjoy learning going from your preschool years all the way throughout.
All the way throughout. I love that because learning is work. And I like how you were highlighting actually this discussion of stay-at-home mother or stay-at-home parent as opposed to someone who goes out into the workforce, and how we as a society consider work. And that's something that is a theoretical concept. That's something that's a social mores. It's a social trope that sometimes we continue to feed into that crosses social barriers, actually, because thinking about work, it's a reprieve sometimes for moms to be able to leave the house. Quite honestly, to leave the house and go all day and do somebody else's job or do a job and interact with adults and then come home and deal with their children, as opposed to a mother who is day in, day out, get up with the children, feed them. The idea of work is something that as a society we have to continuously reconsider or reevaluate. And what is women's work and what is men's work? That's a gender concept that is attached to labor that we have to continue to challenge. So understanding work as a stay-at-home mom, you might have worked more, you went to bed more fatigued than you do, going to a job. I mean, that's the truth. Yes, ma'am. So what is one accomplishment of which you are most proud that you've already done? And what is something to which you aspire? What is the biggest thing that you hope to accomplish in your lifetime?
Well, of course, I'm proud of this baby right here. So, of course, we started as an in-home daycare, very small, very close-knit, and my families, they love that idea. And to find that in a corporate setting and a commercial setting is very difficult, because you think of a daycare center and it's like, oh my goodness, there's 45 teachers, there's 1,600 kids. We're not that big. And the goal is to keep these nesting grounds just that way. So one location to the next. We're building and growing, but we're still keeping it so that we can still keep our hands on each child. And so that's my pride and joy, is finding this location here on Main Street, like you said, in the heart of Richmond, because I was like, I don't care, I don't want to be nowhere else, I want to be in the city of Richmond. And everybody's like, do you know how much red tape there is in Richmond? And I said, I don't care how much tape I have to cross, I want Richmond. And so the pride and joy is just being here, getting to this point, going from being a small in-home facility to now a center base that's licensed by the state. And next, my goal is to start working on this nonprofit, start working on this school, to not just have one location, not to just, because Richmond, as you know, only have like 1 or 2 charter schools here. They're not very easy to get into. There's lottery systems, things like that. So I'm hoping to start a charter school here in Richmond to become our stomping ground, and then move forward and see where else we can take the school and go from there, because it's just so important, like I said, to be able to start somewhere and still grow, because you don't want to see those babies leave at 5 and go to kindergarten and then you don't see them anymore.
That's true.
I want to see you guys all the way through high school. So if we don't get a charter school, starting out with a private school, getting that stuff done, because as I said, I do still homeschool my children, and so I want to see them grow, and I want to see all our babies, from the ones that start here all the way through their college degree. to finish, and I want to see the start to finish. It's just it's so much of that process. Being in education, as you would know, you want to see them start and you want to see them finish.
You do.
It's a complete package when you get to see them start and finish. So that's my goal, is to see the start and finish of Lilly's Learning Pad to the Resource Center and beyond.
Fantastic. We went to Lilly's Learning Pad, to the Resource Center, and beyond, and beyond, and beyond. And really, one thing I hope you don't mind me saying that I really applaud you and your husband Jerome for is that you all came here with a few $100s and just a prayer, honestly.
It was.
And what that took to go from that to one thing at a time. I have to get this. This has to get met. All right, we have somewhere to stay. Okay, we have something to drive. Here we go. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Now you have a house, not an apartment. Now you have a house. Now you have multiple vehicles. Now you have a resource center. That takes, first of all, crazy faith, but it also takes planning. So I do just want to publicly tell you how very proud I am of you for pressing, because you are still young. You're a young woman.
Yes.
And you are making all these things happen. So that is fantastic. And so here, there are all kinds of different curriculums that daycares can use. What are some of the curriculums, or what is your primary curriculum? Let's say for those who are looking for a daycare, so the toddlers to early adolescence.
So, of course, there are so many amazing curriculums out there, from Rebecca to, there's just so many. And so what I did was, of course, being a homeschooling mommy, I went to each curriculum and I started picking piece by piece, because what works for one child just doesn't work for the other. And having 4 children with such a bright future, but yet such different personalities, I was like, I need something a little bit that takes from everywhere. And so I've come up with my own curriculum where we learn through play. So a lot of stuff is, we encourage your child to explore. We encourage you to learn. We encourage you to step out and do, play in dirt. Do whatever it takes to get a fundamental understanding of what it is that the world around you holds. And so that's our main curriculum, is based off of everything we do. So starting in our 2.5-year-old class, we start with things as simple as learning how to sit. Because when you go to kindergarten, my heavens, there are so many children out in the public school system that just can't sit. And if the teacher is starting off in September through December trying to teach your child to sit, by January you've lost 4 good months of educational time. And so we take time out to just teach sitting, pencil holding, how to work with writing utensils, things of that nature, at 2. And everybody's like, at 2? Are you kidding me? By 3, we're working on words. You should be looking at words. You should be able to at least read 10 words by the time you leave here. And I don't care when you started. So I'm hoping that you at least know 10 words by the time you are 3.5 years old. That is the goal. And then, of course, you're going to learn through your environment. We have sand tables. We have the playground. We've got maps in every room. We've got all kinds of frog stuff, as you can see, in every room for the learning pad. And by the time you get to this room here, which is our preschool room, this is our foundation to the future. That's what I love to call it, our foundation to the future. Once you get here, there's no turning back. You need to be able to write. You need to be able to identify who you are, your name, your address, things that are important that we don't quite teach in schools. Because if you get to school and you can't mommy forgot to fill out the emergency contact form, we can't get in contact with mommy. I need to be able to get in contact with your mom. So things like just knowing your mom's phone number, knowing your address, these are important things to teach your child that that just slip our minds sometimes. Like, who thinks the zip code is important until you put in Main Street and there's one in Danville too? And so these are some of the things we pride ourselves in teaching the kids, and just figuring out who they are. Because once you know who you are, it takes such a weight off your shoulders when you get into school. Yeah. So you're able to say, oh, I know who I am. I've been able to play in dirt, or I'm a really, really girly girl. I like Barbie dolls. And now you don't have to focus on you, and you can focus on your social aspects next. And then your fundamental educational things, which is, of course, going through kindergarten, knowing how to tie your shoes and things like that. The stuff that we used to were requirements of school. You had to tie your shoe and know your name to get in kindergarten. Now,
Yes.
it's just a free fall.
It is that. You get a certain age and you're going
and you're going in. It doesn't matter.
You gotta get the shoes with the little
With the
strap,
Velcro.
with the Velcro strap.
Yes, my son, one of my boys, he just was like, Mommy, I don't want to tie my shoes. And I'm like, well, what are you going to wear? He's like, Mommy, please just buy me the ones with the straps. And I was like, my dear, no, sir. You're going to learn to tie these shoes. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, we take for granted how strict things were back in the day. But it worked. It worked. It set us up so that our teachers weren't as stressed. And we know all our teachers are overworked and underpaid. So it's a joy to be able to know we sent a child there prepared. And so preparation is a big part of our curriculum. Of course, focusing on learning through play, learning the environment, being comfortable with who you are, making friends, not being stressed on, all the life things that come with going into public school. That's what we foster here.
That's great. I love that. Because it seems like it's so fun in here. Mm-hmm. This is upstairs and downstairs, guys. I'm telling you, there's a lot of space. The 12-year-old or the older adolescents, mm-hmm. that room has desks, flat screens. They have all kinds of arts and crafts, sand tables, water, really, and then you can go, the types of trips that you can go on here, the walking trips that you can go on right here on West Main Street, guys. You can go anywhere in Cary Town. This is on a main strip, and so all you have to do is walk out the front door, and learning is everywhere. It's a live environment. It's live history. It's a live environment where kids can come and play and learn, quite honestly. So I see that you have phonics. You champion phonics, phonetic skills, complex phonetic skills. You're up to code. So where are you located, and how can people reach you?
So of course we are right here on Main Street. We're 2302 West Main Street. Richmond, Virginia, 23220. We're literally walking distance, like you said, from the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts and the Historic District and the Museum District, the fan. I'm learning all these good terms, so I'm trying to feel fancy now. Fancy. Yes. So we're in the fan. We are in the fan. You can reach out to me via my cell phone because that's everywhere now. It's no longer mine. 347-563-8280. You can reach us on Facebook, Lilly's Learning Pad. Just put it in the search engine. We'll pop up. You'll see the big green frog. There's just so many ways. Just drive by. Come out, see us, visit us, pop up wherever. We're here to welcome you.
And the rates are comparable, guys. They're affordable. Please contact Brittany Muller for your child care needs. She is here. She has a heart of gold. She will treat your children like they're her own. So we do encourage you to reach out. If you're looking, now is the time to start looking for child care. Even if you're in the gestational period, every mother knows that eventually their child is going to have to be in someone else's hands. So what better hands to be in than in Lilly's Learning Pad? Did you want to share anything else?
Speaking of discounts and reasonable prices, we do offer discounts for all City of Richmond employees, nurses, teachers, first responders, and military, because we know how hard you guys work every day. And my husband is a City of Richmond employee, so I favor them a little bit. And so I give discounts to all of our first responders, police officers, firefighters, you name it. We give discounts to nurses, teachers, first responders, military, and City of Richmond employees.
Bless you for that. So please contact Brittany. Come by Lilly's Learning Pad. Come by and just converse with her. Talk about what the options are for you and your child care needs for your family. And then reach out on Facebook. Call her cell phone. She actually will answer, or send her a text. She'll respond. Email her, lillyslearningpad@gmail.com. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. She got this.
Listen, right?
Yes.
Email her. She will respond to you. So I do encourage you to pour into this, to know that your child is in a safe and well environment. That is really, there's no price that you can put on knowing that your child is safe, well taken care of, and that the learning process is being fostered. Thank you again, Brittany Muller, for being on this segment of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks.
Thank you for having me.
It's been my pleasure. I just love you.
Yay.
Be sure to tune in. I love you back. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time to Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks. I look forward to seeing you again next week. And don't forget to go and be great on purpose. God bless you.